work, Mr. Scott.
So that stun thing that everyone told us to get that keeps people in permanent stun, I bought that, and then I realized you actually had to separately install it in your gun afterwards.
Yeah, you do that. You have to
So
do
I did that.
Someone just said, Thomas100273 said, they finally figured they can't squash the indie scene. I don't think console ever tried to squash the indie scene. I think console guys really quite like anything that makes money, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think very many people see it as that kind of like. I don't think very many people who are successful see it as that kind of antagonistic relationship. Both on the indie side, I think you tweeted something about this, Mike, where you were like, I don't know many successful indies who hate AAA, and I don't know many successful
AAA that hate indies. Yeah, I think that's true. I think there's a lot of respect on both sides. I think we're both kind of envious of the other person's position. I'd love to have the resources to make something, you know, like what you're seeing, the kind of the scale of this game would be amazing. And I'm sure a lot of AAA guys would like the creative freedoms that I have. So it's I think it's a mutual kind of respect thing. But yeah, it's far too easy to blame other people for problems and kind of say, oh, there's an indie conspiracy, or oh, there's a AAA conspiracy, or you know, that game sucks, that guy doesn't deserve the success, blah 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 blah. I think there's a lot of that in, and it's just usually it's from lazy, boring people. I don't hear it from many. I don't hear many people who I think are awesome saying stuff like that.
I think we can all agree that there is a conspiracy, definitely.
Can you elaborate, though, by what you mean by conspiracy?
There's a lot of conspiracy theories around indies, that indies kind of, that there's these cliques and there's these kind of crap, and that's, I've just never encountered that. And I'm now accused often of being part of that clique, and it's like, so, it's like, no, there's definitely not a clique.
You and Phil Fish and
just
and Team Meat.
I think there is like a thing of...
Meaning what? I don't know. Follow
just meaning that I think there's indies that feel that there's a group of indies who look out for each other and kind of don't want anyone else to join the club.
Right. Okay.
That you'll all like support each other, but only if you're part of
in that
group.
club.
Yeah.
And I think what that comes from is usually it's just mates helping out mates. You know, if I know that someone I think is cool has a game out, I'm going to put a tweet up for that to kind of try and help. You know,
it's not my first.
But
why
it's
are
not
they helping this other person and not me?
Well, usually it's because I don't know. Exactly, it's because I don't know that person or I don't like their game. You know, it's. I think people being friendly to people kind of often comes across to the outside maybe as a secretive thing, but. I don't know, you hear loads of weird stuff about people having, like, there's a secret email list, which I'm apparently on, but I've never received an email from it, so it's not true.
Bob Knight calls it the Indielluminati. Yeah, when the, when Aliens Colonial Marines came out, one of the there was that article that said that, like, game reviewers were to blame for misleading the public on that game.
Oh, that was crazy.
Which was super crazy, but one of the claims they made was sort of that same thing you just said of like, oh, the press and developers and publishers all have a secret like email list where they all talk to each other and they all know this stuff. And it's like, what are you, or like that there's like secret channels where they're all sharing this information. It's like, no, that doesn't really exist. I don't know what you're talking about.
It doesn't, but it's easy to imagine those things exist. I would say with Colonial Marines, like there were, and I'm going to choose my words very carefully. There were lots of journalists knew that game wasn't going to be good. Like, I mean, I don't think anyone misled anyone. No one. Sure. I never saw anyone say anything positive. But it was kind of. I remember because I'm a massive, Aliens fan, and I
think people knew that it wasn't going to be good after it was like playable.
Yeah, but like that's a few months before the reviews. Like I remember journalist friends saying to me, because I was very hyped about it, saying, "You know what, Mike, don't get as excited as you are." But that's not. I don't remember any of those guys then writing anything positive. It was just they hadn't got to the writing the review yet. So I don't think there was a dishonesty there. This is the thing: is people can construe dishonesty and conspiracy just through lack of information.
Yeah. So I'm actually controlling these mind melds. I didn't realize that.
Oh.
These cutscenes, I'm like moving the camera and stuff.
All those who resisted.
Well, that's uninteresting.
Yeah, but I didn't realize it at first. I was just sitting there like, oh, when is something gonna happen? Oh, wait.
Guys, it's okay that we're killing all of the Gorn because they're
jerks. They killed everyone else, right? Fuck them. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Licky Toes wants to know what your favorite childhood game was. He didn't direct it to anyone specifically, but I guess we can all answer. Mike, why don't you start?
Oh, it was Deus Ex. Yeah,
As
definitely.
in a childhood game.
I think I played that
Yeah,
game. when
what
I
are
was
we
about-
defining as childhood?
I would say like before the age of 10, let's say.
Well, okay.
Super Mario World, the best game ever made. Duh.
Super Mario Bros. 2, the best game ever made.
It's up there. That's up there.
No, I probably like Final Fantasy VI. I played when I was like 7 or 8.
See, look, another mind meld inside of a mind meld that I'm controlling. See? What's up?
Inception.
Yeah. No, I think my favorite is probably, like, as a young child, is probably DuckTales.
Mognite says Super Mario World, the
Rip
best
was
Wii U
contained.
game.
Yeah.
Until the rib.
That I
So
believe.
someone just asked me as well. I saw on there what some Kickstarter plugs. So I'm going to do that. There's a game called Welcome to Boone Hill, which I want to do well. It's a free roaming graveyard sim, which looks just really weird and cool. That's my Kickstarter plug. Sorry, just wanted to do that.
That's fair.
It's a cute looking game. I'll chuck a link in.
To New Vulcan.
It's a very deep moment, guys.
Long cutscenes.
No, this is
I'm
like
actu-
the third mind meld
Yeah.
for this guy.
I'm actually still just racking my brain about favorite game.
Yeah, I want to know
before
what yours is.
Under 10. You know,
Oh,
honestly,
sorry, I cut
like
you off there. I apologise.
no, that's
And I did
okay.
it again then by apologising. Sorry.
No, my parents had this weird thing, and I don't know if it was really just that they didn't want my young mind corrupted, or if they just wanted some excuse to not spend money on video games because they probably didn't have a lot of it. But they wouldn't let me have video games till I was 7, so I didn't get a lot of video game time in like before the age of 10. So I guess it would just be Sonic 3.
I had exactly the same experience because my parents didn't want me to play games because they thought I'd waste my life playing games, which
Go figure.
they were right.
Yeah.
But so yeah, no. So my only game I played until about 8 or 9 was Sonic around the mate's house. You know, I had a mate who had the Sega stuff, the Mega Drive, so I played a lot of that. But yeah, that's weird,
I've never
man.
heard of that
That's
console.
you know,
It
how
didn't
the
have any
Mega
kind of
Drive.
weird
No,
like,
I don't know what that is.
PC thing, like an Amiga or a, one of
Me,
those-
I didn't know. I wasn't allowed. I remember my dad smuggled me because my dad didn't agree with the rule about not playing games. So I played Doom at some point. I remember,
Oh, wow.
and Hocus Pocus. I remember Hocus Pocus, but yeah, it was a taboo in my house. Indeed. So no, I didn't play games. So I was a lot older, and then obviously made up for lost time.
Doesn't eat unless I know about it. Aye, sir.
Yeah, but I mean, Ocarina of Time's pretty great.
The regret is not for myself.
If we're just saying
This
stuff,
is a great
If your
it
favorite
came out.
childhood game is Ocarina of Time, you're too young. I'm sorry.
It came out before I was 10, so wrap your head around that.
Oof.
We'll do the same to tomorrow.
It's a
I'm
bummer.
afraid you are correct, Captain. How do you want to handle this one?
No, actually, Ocarina of Time's quite
We
fun.
must go through the
It's
red
great.
light.
Darth Cylon says Half-Life 3 was pretty good.
And tomorrow,
Oh yeah,
we'll just have
sure.
to save her as well. In my mind, Commander.
I'm sure that'll be my child's favorite game from before they were 10.
Thing with my face.
Having a hard time keeping her steady.
She can't take any more of this, Captain. It's taking everything I've got to keep the ship from ripping apart. Hate to be such a bother, sir, but how much longer?
Not too much longer, Scotty.
I keep giving Valve all my money,
That seems right.
but
Yeah, it's
I
fair.
feel like they don't make games when I do that, though.
They do though. Well, they make other games possible. Like without Valve, I
True.
wouldn't be able to make my next game. So I kind of
Right.
like Valve.
Unknown planet, dead ahead, sir.
On screen.
Valve's
It
fascinating.
appears as if
They make
this
so
is
much
some
money
kind of
from this
soldering
stuff. But when you
Yeah.
stop and think that pretty much every PC game sold now, they get 30% of. Oops, probably shouldn't have said that. They get 30% of.
Interesting. All right, that is an interesting piece of
Gotta get us down
information.
there.
Whoops. Like that's a big deal. That's an astonishing amount of money that's going into that company.
Why
Yeah.
do I have to go?
Yeah.
And they're private, right? They're not publicly
Yeah.
traded.
Yeah,
or
that's
anything.
correct.
Yeah.
And as a
Yep.
doctor, you may be our
That
only
is
hope in
totally
defeating
crazy.
If you
Ah,
need
cool. The
to
Cheese
discover
33 said Phil Fish said that the other day. Okay, cool. Oh,
You know-
in which case you heard it from Phil Fish, not me.
Damn it.
You know, when you really put it that way, it's like it's no wonder that they've got like this whole Steam box thing. It was like, man, it seems really risky. It's like, yeah, they've got cash.
I wouldn't be shocked if they're doing better than some of the console guys.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
I'm sure they are.
In terms of that part of their business, you know.
And they're not blowing millions and millions of dollars on like marketing and stuff the way those guys have to.
If
That's the
anything,
thing,
they're
is
really.
without any marketing, they've done pretty well. I mean, it's not like there's ever been a Steam commercial, really.
Well, there was
and-
for Half-Life 2
Though
Yeah, I guess so. It forces you to get and Portal 2 as
and
well.
Portal. Yeah.
I bet we're actually now that you mention that, I bet we're less than 2 years out from Steam commercials.
I think there'll be Steam box commercials, but I bet they won't be from Valve.
It's kind of ubiquitous now.
It'll
I
be
think
from
they
third
just own that mindshare. It's a thing with that people just don't buy games if they're not on Steam. Like it's a real problem for indies is that we're so often if our game's not on Steam, people just won't buy it because they want it on Steam.
I will say,
Yeah.
you know, like, there's been a lot of like controversy, you know, back and forth on whether or not Greenlight is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
I am excited that Valve has said that they're now going to start doing more Greenlight releases faster in like smaller groups, instead of just doing like 10 game packs every 3 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be good. I think it's very clever what they're doing with Greenlight. It's kind of the thing that a lot of people are missing with Greenlight is Greenlight's not actually like it is about selecting games, and that's a cool side effect. But what they're actually doing is they're trying to work out the metrics for sales. Like the whole thing with Valve that they're brilliant at is they know how well your game's going to sell from the first day of sales. Like if they can look at the number of sales you made on the first day, and they can say, okay, you're going to make this over your lifetime. What they're trying to do is they're trying to extend that to before release. They're trying to say, okay, so how many views has your YouTube video had? Therefore, how many copies will your game sell? That kind of thing. And the Greenlight is essentially market research. It's working out. So you know how many people want indie platformers. Valve knows that now. You know, and it's
We're coming up on 20 minutes of this cutscene, by the way.
Yeah.
And we're finally in control. Okay.
All right.
It's been quite cutscene, not very cutscene heavy for the rest of it.
it's-
It seems like
near the end.
they spent all their money here, right?
This is the home planet of the bad guys. So I
Phil,
think
you interrupted a thing
Yeah, that was
I was listening to.
legitimate talk.
Continue.
I think Mike's point, if I was remembering correctly, was that Valve is terrible and he hates them. Am I
Yeah,
right?
that was it. Yeah, I just never want to work with them again.
Also, Greenlight is the worst thing to ever happen to indies, I believe.
I actually really dig Greenlight. I think Greenlight's giving a lot of people a chance. The problem with Greenlight is that it's a popularity contest, and that frustrates a lot of people. But unfortunately, retail's a popularity contest. You know, selling games is a popularity contest.
I'm not 100% sure exactly how Greenlight works. So, like, is it just like you have a time period to get a certain amount of votes?
There's not even a time period. I think you can stay on as long as you want.
Yeah, basically you go
You have
on
to get
there.
like a certain like amount of hype.
Like you have to be in the top 10
yeah.
for that period to get out? Or
It's
something?
not a period thing, it's a bell curve. So it's basically they have every game on Greenlight has a number of votes that have happened for it. Once you hit the center of the bell, once you're amongst the most successful games on there, you're then reviewed by Valve. It's a way of basically trimming off
So
the
they do
bottom
still
20%.
review it, okay.
They have to, yeah. It's not a done thing. It's like there's a number you have to hit. When indies talk about percentages, it's basically once you hit, I think it's the top 10% or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but once you hit the top bar, then it's reviewed. It's a good way of dealing with it because Valve got so many entries. I mean, I was
Is it pretty easy to get on Greenlight? Like, can you just pop yourself on there? Like,
I think so.
It's $100.
There's a $100 fee for it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I
Because
remember
initially it was
that.
open for anyone, and there was a lot of like joke ones, fake ones, like
That's. I remember
pirated
the
games and shit.
through when it was $100, as if it's not $99 to get on the App Store for Apple as well.
The Cheese33 says Greenlight's voting system is flawed. It only relies on people saying, sure, I'd buy that without putting any actual money down. So I've helped Greenlight plenty of games I've never really bought. I think that's fine, though. I think
That's fine
okay.
because
Someone's buying them, right?
but
I mean,
it's
it
still.
You
It's
might
still
buy them later,
indicative.
though.
Yeah, it's still indicative because if he's taking that approach and a bunch of other people are taking that approach, it's still he gives enough of a fuck about those games and he
Right.
doesn't about other games. So it's
Or
kind of
Yeah, or like he gives a yes vote to a green light game that he doesn't buy, but someone else who is just like him and has the same taste, but doesn't participate in green light does buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
When it gets on Steam.
It's like YouTube views. It's the numbers are big enough that it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't. with all due respect, it doesn't matter what he does. He's done enough. He's expressed interest in this over that. Oh,
There's
actually,
a lot of stuff I've hit yes on that I wouldn't buy until a Steam sale happened, but that kind of thing.
Well,
Exactly.
then
Sales
you're
will
part of the
happen.
problem, Dylan.
That's what I think is Steam sales will happen, and I will buy that.
Oh, look
stuff
at this
actually.
thing that's
I don't-
definitely not controllable.
Well, I mean, it is just not very
Right.
well.
Oh,
the
okay.
other thing is Steam
It's
sales
not-
is sorry. Steam sales is where most games are sold anyway.
right.
Yeah.
Like I've probably made, I would say, about 3/4 of the money I've ever made. I've made in Steam sales. It's like it's
I mean,
the
Valve
main
has
audience.
that's one of their greatest, smartest things they've ever done. I think is over the years, Valve has turned the Steam sale into such a ubiquitous, well-known, well-beloved thing that,
Yeah.
like, I mean, yes, you get people who don't buy a game until it's on a Steam sale, but those people spend a lot of money on Steam sales.
That's me,
Well, yeah.
essentially. I'm that person.
But that's fine. I mean that's fine. The sum that indies always trot out, which is absolutely true, is if I go in the Steam sale, I'll sell eight times the copies if I'm
Yeah,
doing
I mean-
the 50%. So I don't mind it. I don't mind if you wait till you pay £2 because you pay £2, and it
Yeah, it
means that it's fine.
It's the kind of thing where it's, I won't buy a ton of games not on sale, but once there's a Steam sale, I'll buy 3 months worth of games.
Precisely.
At once,
And games that you wouldn't necessarily have been like massively hyped for, they're games that you go, yeah, I'll get
And there's a
that.
lot of times it's just, like, I don't know that games are out, and then they're advertised on Steam, I say, oh, well, that's out, and it's...
And I got to imagine,
So I'm in.
I'm far from a business expert. I don't know the actual numbers on this, but I've got to imagine somebody, the game getting sold in a Steam sale. There's still the developer themselves or the publisher are making more money than if it was sold used.
Well, yeah, they're making
Because
some
you're
money.
making nothing if it's sold used.
Exactly,
Right.
yeah. And then the thing is, it's like this is the great thing about digital is it costs me nothing. Like I've not got a warehouse of copies of Thomas Was Alone somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like it costs me the same amount of money to sell one copy to you as 20,000. And
Yeah, man, that's like...
and that's where Steam sales are amazing because frankly, at this point, everyone who was hyped about Thomas Was Alone and was like, I need to get this game day one, they've bought it.
They bought it, yeah.
Those guys they're cool and thank you those guys because you're the reason I can pay my rent. But the people who I'm going to sell it to now are people who maybe have heard it mentioned on a stream, or have maybe who have a casual interest because they've seen it somewhere or someone's told them about it. So those guys, I can sell it to 50% off. I wouldn't sell it to them full price. I couldn't.
It puts like a natural longer tail on it, and it also gets people
Yeah.
talking. Like you'll get people who picked it up on a Steam sale, and maybe talk to some friends who didn't pick it up who missed it.
Yeah.
Now they're going to pick it up at full price after the Steam sale because their friend really likes it.
Yeah, and it all bleeds into each other. So, like, Thomas came out on Vita and PS3 last week, and my Steam sales have gone through the roof because more people are talking about it. So
Right.
I just end up selling more copies. So it all feeds into each other. It's a weird, crazy business model.
I have a crazy sniper rifle now.
Awesome.
I forgot that we were still playing this for a second, so we were having good conversation.
Dude, you mentioning like having physical copies of games and stuff to sell made me think of how like Introversion was doing like indie games back in like 2000.
And those guys were like making the boxes themselves and shit.
Yeah, like that's.
Give me a hand.
I don't even know how they managed to pull that off. That's crazy because there wasn't even really like an indie scene back then.
No, those were pioneers, and they're massively important in the UK scene now. They really help out a lot of guys. They've done a lot of stuff to help me out and everything. They're really cool guys. They realised that they were kind of amongst the first to want to make it easier for other people.
Yeah, right. That's cool.
Yeah, no, they're good guys. They're good guys.
Psychotic says, as an aspiring game dev, thanks for the conversation. It's quite informative.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad.
I'm
ask-
a little bothered that somebody might be getting something worthwhile out of this.
It's
You know,
kind of
that makes me second guess myself. But
Yeah, that cuts into your Schadenfreude.
Well, if anyone's got any questions, they can chuck them in. I'm pretty happy to talk quite openly about all this stuff. I've already broken my NDA, so we're cool at this point. No, it's cool. It was out there. It was public domain. That's fine. I'm covered. Phil Fish already said it, so he can get sued.
They wouldn't
Phil
dare.
wants Phil Fish sued.
They wouldn't dare sue Phil Fish. He's too powerful.
He is. He's also a nice bloke and doesn't deserve it, obviously. Killing you, guy. As an aspiring astronaut, thanks for playing this game. It's quite informative.
Hey man, like, yeah, you want to go up to space, it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. This is the kind of shit you have to deal
It's
with.
gonna be lizards.
Pathfinding bugs.
Okay, so
Co-op door challenges.
Lamani asks, am I worried about the power of Steam because if you don't get approved on Steam, your game is basically dead on arrival? That's not true. Thomas came out and it wasn't on Steam for the first kind of 6 months, 4 or 5 months, I can't remember. And it did okay. I think if your game, I think it's very important, Steam, and I think they do have an inordinate amount of power, but that's because they're a good service. You know, I don't think there's anything nasty to it. I think
you know, the thing is, like, people bring that up, and it's totally fair. I totally understand where they're coming from, but like that's naturally there's going to be a service that a majority of people end up flocking to.
Yeah.
Like that happens
sure.
naturally, and for it to be a service that's actually doing generally pretty good, pretty cool stuff is great.
I'd also be hard-pressed to name many games in that position which are excellent games. Like, I think if a game's excellent and it's not on Steam, usually that's the choice of the developer. So, like, Minecraft is specifically not on Steam, I imagine, for a reason. I'm sure Steam wanted Minecraft, you know. I'd be hard-pressed to name many games that don't... Like, they might not get there immediately. As I said, Thomas took a long time. I had to work very hard to get onto Steam. But they get there eventually. I think the ones that are the best. I think there's a lot of games that don't quite make it because maybe they're not as marketable. But those games wouldn't have made that money anyway because they're not, you know, they're not appealing to a large enough audience. I think there's a certain degree of pragmatism to this.
Thomas Was Alone was pre-Greenlight, right?
I was at there was an event to announce Greenlight to indies in the UK, and I walked up and talked to Steam and got it on Steam. I talked to the guys at Valve at that meeting, so it was literally about 5 minutes before Greenlight I got through. So I was just in the very last group of people, but I'll Greenlight my next game.
Can you talk at all about like what the process was if you're not going through Greenlight?
Yeah, so
I don't really know. I don't have a sense of what the process is.
Well, it's not this anymore. But what it was basically there was an email address, and you emailed the email address, and you hoped to one day hear something back. So in my case, what I did, I sent an email about 4 months before the game was coming out. Got no response. You know, sent loads and loads of emails. Eventually, got one guy to look at it, and he didn't like it, so it wasn't going to go through. And then I got a friend who already had a game on Steam to kind of vouch for me a bit and get someone else to look at it, and that worked. That was how I got through. But it was that kind of system. It was very messy, very much depended on who you knew and stuff like that, which isn't the best way to do these things.
And that might be a sign of how Greenlight is maybe something a little better in that case.
I totally
not just getting stopped by one dude at Valve who might not
doesn't like it or whatever. Yeah, no, totally, and that's why I think Greenlight's a step in the right direction. I don't think it's perfect. Of course, it's not perfect, but I think it.
It's just the first thing. It's the first thing, right? Like these sort of like Greenlight type things are going to get better. Like Greenlight will change.
Totally, yeah. And I'll be going through Greenlight with my next game. I'm not going to get... I don't know if I could get special treatment because I've already got a game already. I'm not sure if that's possible, but I'll still go through Greenlight because that's the way it's done now. And if it can't get through Greenlight, it's probably not going to sell very well, you know? So we'll see. We'll see.
What was it? Did Papers, Please made it through Greenlight, right?
It did. That just happened this week. I was very happy
about that.
Good stuff's getting through. Like, there's a few examples of a few games that people are kind of, wondering why they've not got through. But on the whole, good stuff's getting through.
And
It's
I
not-
do think, you know, to your point, those games that aren't getting through, which, you know, I by all means hope that didn't work. By all means, I hope that a lot more of those games do. But some of the games that maybe haven't gotten through yet, I think would have struggled to be getting through in the system
Yeah.
where just Valve's looking at them too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and the other thing, of course, is there's nothing stopping people from using other services. Like Thomas came out on
Desura is out, and there's a lot of people using Desura.
Yeah, I used Azura. That was where I launched it. It's not a great platform. You don't sell very well on there, but it's a good start.
Well, I mean, I won't use it because I don't know how to pronounce it. So it's right out immediately for me.
I always
got-
thought Desura was just like Steam for Linux users, something
It's
like that.
it
Like
sort of
those
is.
types.
Well, that's the
It's-
Steam now.
Well, yeah, I guess so, isn't it? I suppose it is.
Azura's okay. My direct sales are my second best place, so I sell direct as well. And I probably sell about I don't know, 5% of the copies I sell on Steam, but that's still better than everywhere else other than Steam. So direct
Is that just
doable.
like a DRM free like executable or something?
That's what I do. Yeah, I send it's literally a zip file with a Windows executable and the Mac executable in there, and then I also send a Steam key
And
as well.
to be
'cause-
fair, I think Desura is, you know, still kind of newish. I think they've been getting a little better known and a little better.
The biggest
Yeah.
problem with Azura right now is the discoverability. Is like for the first week
Yeah.
you do very well because you're on the front page, but after that you're hidden.
Yeah.
Like every sale I get on Azura has been generated by me, kind of someone going to my website and following a link, rather than it's not people don't find them organically. It's not a bad system, but it's just not Steam.
It's still
But yeah.
still young, but I'm just saying, like, there are alternatives, and
Of course there are,
Yeah.
and the other thing that a lot of people are having success with is if your game's already done, putting it on Greenlight and saying, hey, you know, vote for me to get it on Steam, but also the game's out already, so buy it now, and I'll give you a
Yeah.
Steam key once it's on here, is working well for a lot of indies. It's a great way of advertising a game
Oh yeah.
as well. And that Valve always intended it to be that. The ideal from Valve's perspective is that we basically use Greenlight as our promotion. So the second you launch a trailer, you've got a Greenlight, and you kind of centralize it all on there. That's what Valve want.
Hobai asking the important questions. We got 4 minutes left here, Dylan, and he asks, why don't giant lizards just tear you in half and lay eggs in your corpse?
I believe that's the plot of Turok, right?
I think so, yeah.
I knew you guys wouldn't make it.
Well,
Well, I
still
think we
might.
still plan to finish it, right?
We might still finish. If we don't
Not
finish
doing
it now,
anything
we're
at 3
gonna finish it later. So we might as
I'm
well.
not doing anything at 3 a.m., Phil.
Have mercy.
Um,
For once in your wretched life.
no, I probably
I
won't.
think this is something we have to, we're near the end. We have to see it through for the people, the peeps.
So yeah, when I come back on at 2 a.m., we'll probably start with this and finish it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Because
do
I
my
hate
best
myself.
to be on, but I guarantee.
So I don't need to wake up for that.
You probably shouldn't wake up for that. You'd probably not.
I don't
forgive
plan to wake
yourself.
up for it. I'm just going to play it while I sleep.
As God and the game's creators intended.
Yeah. I think so. Well, God is the game's creator. Let's give credit where credit is due.
That's true. Oh man, more hacking games, great.
I did find in the upgrade, the first electronics upgrade is you can use it and bypass
yeah,
all the slip
actually,
packs.
I forgot that I had bought that and haven't been using it.
The whole
Fuck.
room is filled with weapons. I know. This could get ugly. This
I'm
is
impressed by
probably
you
the
guys
secret.
kind of sticking this one out.
If
Fair
we can
play.
access the central computer, we may be
It's longer than I thought.
This is, to be fair,
It'll make our job.
this is what I do on my stream
Yeah.
all the time, so
This-
I play
this is
really
their
shitty
MO.
games, and
We stop
Okay.
it's
pretty normal.
It should shut down the main system.
So guys, I'm thinking I might just put a bunch of Thomas keys in anyway. They've done a good job. They've got quite far. How do you feel about that?
I'm not going to argue with that.
It's fair. Yeah, if they've stuck around this long, right? I mean,
Frankly, anyone who's watched Star Trek for this long, get some keys. I think.
They might
Yeah.
have.
Okay,
I think it's a good idea. Are you just
Okay,
going to
then-
steam them up in there or what?
I'm just going to comment them in if that's alright with you guys. I'm just going to chuck a big wall of them, and yeah, guys can just...
Ready, guys.
Okay. Steam's at the ready, boys and girls. How many shall I give away? I'll just put in like 15 or something. I'll do.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm just going to wait for...
generous of you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to wait for the stream to catch up with me saying that, and then I'm going to click it.
I say the best way to thank Mike for putting in Thomas codes would be to maybe donate a little of the cost to One Fund, right?
I think that would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty
Pay
cool.
it forward, guys.
If you manage to get one of these codes and you enjoy it,
for the charity.
And tell your friends to buy it too.
Yeah.
In great numbers. And go buy an indie game you've never heard of and see if it's good.
Where, did you just fall down the hole, Phil? Or
Yeah,
were we supposed to go down there?
I went down. I don't know. I'm just exploring.
I'm going down there. Let's get in the hole together.
Oh, hey, there's a power cell here. Okay, we're supposed to do that.
Let's keep moving.
Good.
Do I need this? Can I just drop this? What are you? You're standing in my way.
Sorry. Oh, and yeah, for those asking how to use the codes, it's under your Steam options. There's this option that says activate a game on Steam. And you just type in, you just copy paste that code in, you're good to go.
I'm having to do them one at a time because otherwise it truncates them into one mega code.
Oh,
which
that
will
would
just
be
confuse everyone.
That would be confusing, yeah.
So I'm just kind of feeding them in one by one. I don't know how many I've put in, but fuck it.
See, now you're approaching the stream like I do.
What's that?
Just fuck it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Fuck it.
It's cool. I like doing this because it's always fun to give away some keys, and I know that I'll have 10 emails when I go in my email saying, "Hey, I didn't get a key. Can I have one?" No, you missed your chance. Okay, I think that's probably it. I'm gonna stop now.
Thank you very much again. So,
Yeah.
Hey, no worries, no worries. It's a good cause. I hope you get there. I think you will. I think you will.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we've already hit our first goal, so
Codes.
even if we don't end up hitting 25,000, we're more than successful. I'm very happy with this. But yeah, hopefully we have lots more coming yet. We still have more left than we have done thus far, which is
crazy.
weird and crazy.
Hmm.
Oh, I should probably go after this to the store and buy an energy drink if I'm going to be up at 3 in the morning.
I can, as someone who's currently up at 4 in the morning my time, I can tell you it's hard. It's a challenge, but I've done it. I think you can too.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about staying up. I'm worried about wrestling with the already difficult and nearly unplayable game.
Cool. I'm going to head off, guys.
All right, thank you for joining us, sir.
Yeah,
Hey,
thanks
it
a
was
lot,
like-
man.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much. Yeah, really good. Not a great game, but a great chat. So cheers. Cool. Awesome. See you later, everyone.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye. 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 Comments. Bye.
It's actually we're past 8, so we should probably switch over. Yeah. Why don't we do that? We'll stop here for now.
Okay.
This is where we'll pick up.
Or near here at the
Let's
newest
check out
check.
your gamer card. What's going on with that?
With my gamer card, my
Look at that
2000
nice picture.
See, I wish you can't pull up my avatar, can you?
All right, guys, we will be back. My next segment starts at 2 a.m. Pacific, and God help us, we're gonna try and play through the rest of this game. I think I'm gonna hop on for a little bit during John's segment and read off some of the donations we've got thus far, and then John's gonna play Legendary the Box. So you've got a really good game to look forward to.
I'm excited for Chex Quest. I want to watch it, but then I know I won't be able to go to sleep. Yeah.
Yes, Phil. Earlier, didn't you call Chex Quest a bad game, or like?
No,
why
I
it
didn't
was-
at all. I said it was I said it was a pretty good game in its own right.
Okay,
I
good.
thought you lumped it in as part of the bad game block
No.
or something.
Not at all.
All right. All right, I'm sorry.
I was actually,
Carry
I think
on.
I was saying it was a bad game block, and then I got to Check's Quest and was like, it was actually kind of a good game, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a weird game.
Yeah. It's also like super short.
Yeah, that's true as well. Okay, we're gonna stop this. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep watching. John will be on in just a second.
We'll be back with more Star Trek when you least expect it.